Okay, so we need to talk about common and natural logarithms. So a common logarithm, so just find some space where you can just take a couple notes here. So what kind of logarithm is so common that it gets a name common logarithm? So any logarithm that has a base of 10, so it's going to be a log with a base of 10 is a common logarithm. So for example, we could have log base 10 of 100 equals 2. So there's log form. If we think about it, 10 raised to the second power is 100. So yep, this makes sense. But because it's a base 10, some things are just so common, they don't bother writing it in for us. So a common logarithm, instead of writing this right here, they would say, don't bother. You can just say log of 100 equals 2. If you are missing the base with your logarithm, that means that the base is 10. It's just like that idea, if you have an x, and I said, what's your coefficient of x? Oh, it's a 1x. What's your exponent? X raised to what power? X to the first power. Those are very common that they just don't write those in for us. So when we're talking logarithms, if the base is 10, that's so common that you don't even have to write it in. So that's a common logarithm. A natural logarithm is a special type of logarithm. It gets its own name. These are, a natural logarithm is a log with base e. You guys remember we learned about e in this unit. It's so common. We get to call it a natural logarithm. So if you have a log with a base of e, so here's what that would look like. If we had, here, let's write this. Instead of writing log base e of 1 equals 0, this log base e, they say, you know what, we don't want to write it like that. We write ln of 1 equals 0. That ln is the natural log. So why isn't it NL? I have no idea. It's LN. You guys have a log button on your calculator. You have an LN button on your calculator. So these are very common. And now you know what they are. So if you have to find, or if you're asked to evaluate anything LN, just say, oh, that's natural log. It's just a logarithm with base e. If you were to rewrite it in exponent form, it would look like e to the first power, e to the 0 power equals 1. So this is considered log form. This is considered exponent form. And all that the natural log is a logarithm that has a base of e. So the base is that 2.718 number that we discovered in our last lesson. Okay, now that we know what common logarithms and natural logarithms are, we can go ahead and do finding some values. So because let's read the directions. I'm getting ahead of myself, you guys. All right. What is the value of each logarithmic expression to the nearest 10,000th? So just a reminder, when we ask for the nearest 10,000th, that's 4 decimal places. So wow, they want us to round. I bet they want us to use our calculator. When you have a common logarithm, you have a button on your calculator for this. When you guys find the log button on your calculator, if you guys use the TI-84s, it's in the left-hand column next to the 7. So you should grab your calculator and make sure you can find it. That button on your calculator operates in base 10. That's a log base 10 function. So all you have to do is type in log of 900 and you should get back on your calculator. Let's see, 2.9542 if we're rounding to the nearest 10,000th. So I just put little squigglies. It's about equal to, because we did have to do some rounding there. A check, how do we know? Really, is that how this works, you know? When it's log base 10, that means 10 raised to the 2.9542 power. Type that into your calculator, see what you get. It's going to be really, really close. It won't be exact because we had to round our answer, but it's just about equal to 900. Okay, LNE, that's natural log of E. So you have a natural log button on your calculator. If you type in natural log of E, it gives you back a 1. And that makes sense because the base of a natural log is E. Like there's a little E right here. They're not going to write in for you. So E to the first power, E to the first power equals, here's our result, equals E. Oh yeah, that checks out. E to the first power is E. So the natural log of E is equal to 1. Calculator will give you that. All right, why don't you guys type this into your calculator? Natural log of negative 1.87. When you type that in, you're going to get that error message. And your calculator might even say non-real answers as the reason. So if we think about this in exponent form, if it's a natural log, the base is E. So E raised to, I'm going to go ahead and set that equal to x. So E raised to the x power is equal to negative 1.87. That's what it looks like in exponent form. So E raised to some power. Remember, E is a number. It's a 2.718, blah, blah, blah. If you have a 2 point something and you raise it to a power, what would we raise it to so that we get this negative 1.87? And you won't be able to come up with anything. We can't raise our base to a power and get this negative number, so we would say this is undefined. I mean, that's why your calculator can't even calculate it for you, because it is undefined.